Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm always in a newsletter. I'm always in email. That's just what I do. That's what I do. But I've come to realize not everyone lives this way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard it is for me to believe not everyone is in their inbox all day long. And I had to realize not everyone lives like I do. So how else do we make sure they get the news? Because we get into our vacuum, into our world, and we think our silos rather, we think everyone lives the way we do, and they don't.
This is Small Press, Big Ideas, a podcast about the business of local news in the United States. I'm your host, Paul Gewertz. Small Press, Big Ideas is about the opportunities and challenges that local news publishers are facing for their businesses. I'll sit down and talk with journalists, entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, and more in the local news industry to find out what's working, what isn't, and how the local news ecosystem can innovate and flourish in the 21st century. Okay, today on the podcast, I am joined by Oseye Boyd. She's the editor-in-chief at Mirror Indy, and I was just saying before we started going that you've been recommended by several previous guests on the show, so thanks. Nice to finally meet you, and thank you for joining me, Oseye. Nice to meet you.
Well, thank you for the invitation, and nice to be here.
Yeah. I kind of like to set the baseline the same on every podcast. If you could just tell us a little bit about your background, kind of your career, and kind of what's led you to where you're at today.
Yeah, sure. I've been in journalism professionally since 1995. I was a copy clerk for my hometown local newspaper while I was in college. That's how I got started. But I've wanted to be a journalist since I was in the fourth grade. I was in high school newspaper yearbook, started to be in my college paper, but then I got the job at the local newspaper. So yeah, that's where I got my start. I've been in local news my whole career for a short stint at Angie's List magazine in the publication department, obviously. I'm working on articles about home improvement.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with Angie's List. It's a great resource also. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is on there all the time, but showing me stuff from Angie's List. Good stuff. Well,
it's just Angie's now. It's just Angie's.
Right. They rebranded. They rebranded, didn't they? That's right.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about Mirror Indy, like the organization? What do you guys report on about the organization a little bit?
Yeah, so our name really says it all. Mirror Indy. We're a reflection of Indianapolis. The good, the bad. We want to tell the whole story of Indianapolis. We are focused on the stories that often have been overlooked, ignored, not even realizing they exist. We are here that's part of our mission, right? Is to, I call them the unnews, to help people thrive, to connect with people who are not regular news consumers, as well as those who are news consumers, but to give a voice to those who don't see themselves often in media. We are a community-based news organization. We are also focused on accountability, but accountability that comes from community level, that people in the community are saying that they're seeing things or hearing things, want to know about issues and concerns that affect them in their everyday life. We want people to thrive. We want this to be a better city for all. We will tell the real full, multifaceted story of our city. We want to make Indianapolis stronger. So we are hyper-local, if that's not clear. We only focus on Indianapolis, Marion County. And so Indianapolis, Marion County are one and the same for me, for here, especially because we have what's called Unigov. And Unigov merged Indianapolis and Marion County like decades ago. So unlike some places where you have the city and then you have the county, they're separate. It's all one. Like our city council is called City County Council.
That's great. I love that. Kind of my origin story of the podcast is I lived in Denver for most of my life. Then we moved out further west in Colorado to a much smaller town.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have a great information source. So I got kind of interested in the hyper local. And I love that you said that trying to find people that are not, I'm not sure exactly how you phrase it, that are not regular news consumers or
Mm-hmm.
news hounds, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's this very important role
Yes.
that it plays. Are you like you have the website? It's primarily digital. Like what other formats is like newsletters, digital? What are you guys doing?
We are digital. We are digital. We have newsletters, as you mentioned, social media. We're on
Right.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, Twitter, and then our website. Try to make sure I'm not leaving out any of our texting service. We have our texting service.
Oh, nice.
But we also, many people do not consume news via website, read an article consistently, or even the newsletter. So we wanted to make sure, again, going back to our mission, that we reach people where they're at, that we tell you stories, tell you the news and information you need. And so one way to get that to you is texting. So we have four or five texting channels that we use to disseminate news and information to people who may not otherwise get it. Yeah, so it's digital. We may occasionally do a print product. We may do a zine here and there, by and large, so we are not print.
Right. Yeah, print is hard. I talk to a lot of people in like local media, and there are some instances where people are even bringing back print or still have print, but it's not, it's not where people are these days. That's kind of the challenge is you have to be digitally these days.
Yeah, well, we definitely want to have, like I said, the print products when it makes sense, when it's useful to our audience, because some people still like to have something in their hands, especially when it comes to some resources. You don't always want to go and try to find answers to your questions via Google if you don't really know what question to ask. So sometimes just having the resources, a guide of information in your hands is really easy. That's part of our mission too. Part of our mission is to reach you where you are. It doesn't matter how you consume news. We want to give it to you the way you actually consume it versus the way we feel like you should consume it. That is what journalism has done throughout our history. We print the paper person puts it at your doorstep, you pick it up and you read it. And we just assume people read the newspaper cover to cover. Well, we know that's not actually what people did. People picked and chose what they wanted to read based on their interest. And what the internet has shown us is that we can now see what they're picking and choosing to read. And we can also see how long they're staying on those articles. And we know that we spend a lot of time reporting and writing to see people have spent a minute or 30 seconds on an article. Or you can see in real time how many people are actually reading your article, while you're in, like I said, in real time. So you can see that there are 5 people on there, or there are 100 people on there, or there's no one on there. So all these things we can see, and that also shapes the way we try to gain our audience. Is, do you need to hear the story? Do you need to read it? Is it social media where you want to go? So do you just need chunks of it? But what do we need to do to get you to get the information? That's most important. It's not important to us that you read this 1,500-word article.
Right.
What is important is if you get the information. And that's not saying that we don't spend time on our articles and we don't still write and it's still an art, it's still a craft. But we also have to recognize that the world's changing. And we have to accept it and still do our jobs.
Yeah, I love that mentality. I had Jonathan Keeling on the told from the Institute for Nonprofit News, I believe, is where he's at. And he told, the way he framed it was, historically, like local news, not everybody's a news hound that wants to read what happened in city council. A lot of people want to know what the high school sports score was or the weather. And that's what grabbed people their attention. And then maybe they'll read about, some of the more maybe important factors going on in there. I also want to talk about, as an organization, it seems like I have a lot of people on talk about like newsroom culture and stuff. And, it's important to have a strong culture. One thing, just before you hopped on, I was looking through just on LinkedIn, and you guys had this kind of shows that in my eye, how cool of a culture you have, is you had like a video up, and it was almost like a 90s style sitcom
Oh yeah.
kind of thing. That thing was great. I'll link to it in the show notes, but it's almost like a 90s sitcom intro meets like what's that new show, The Paper?
Yes.
It's kind of like that vibe. I just wanted to throw that out there, and I'll link to it. That was really cool how you guys.
Well, I'm glad you got the
put that
vibe
together.
because we were going for that vibe. We were going for that sitcom, that 90s sitcom vibe. Yes.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and once again,
Very
everybody.
Full House.
Yeah, very Full House. Even like the font and everything. Good stuff. I'm already going a little off script here. When you were talking about how you're disseminating information in the community, and you were talking about the texting channel, I haven't met many people doing that. Could you tell me? You said it's different streams. Is that like, there's a water main broken on your street, like to people, or like this is where you can go vote in the election? Is it like that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
could you tell me a little bit about what? Yeah, I'm just interested. Yeah.
It's that and more. So we have now. I need to actually. So we have our In the Mirror, which is the main newsroom texting channel. Then so it's four. It's 4 channels. So then we have our two of our neighborhood reporters, the West Side and East Side, and have a channel. And then also Tyler's Calling Home, and he's our economics reporter, and it's basically all about calling home. Because he deals a lot with homelessness in our city, homeless or housing issues. We are in an affordable housing crisis, like many cities are around the country. And so he wanted to call it Calling Home because he felt like everyone should have a place to call home. And so this is it's all those things. We text out articles, we text out information, we ask people, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Hey, here's some cool things to go and do in our city. Let's see. Don't forget to watch the Pacers as they go for this win. Or it's fun. It's informative. It's all the things. Kind of Calling Home does a lot of answering questions that people have. Also, conversations with those who work in the housing field of dealing with homeless people and resources. The neighborhoods channels, they deal a lot with what's going on in their specific neck of the woods. Like, here's resources, or here, did you know this was happening on the east side or the west side, or hey, you might want to attend this government meeting or this event. That's what it's all the things, trying to serve people, and they're growing, but trying to serve people where they are and meet their needs. And like I said, if you don't read a newsletter, because I'm always in a newsletter. I'm always in email. That's just what I do. That's what I do. But I've come to realize not everyone lives this way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard it is for me to believe not everyone is in their inbox all day long. And it's not just work, it's personal. I have several inboxes. I have several email addresses, and I'm in all of them every day. And when I realized, my friends are like, yeah, when I get off work, I'm done with email. And what do you mean you're done with email? Or people like, yeah, I only go check my email once every so often and see if there's something important I'm missing. And I had to realize not everyone lives like I do. So how else do we make sure they get the news? I mean, my dad told me one time when I was talking about Twitter and Twitter getting all my news when it was then called Twitter. And he said, oh, shit, not everybody's on Twitter. And I was like, really? Huh, I guess you're right, Daddy. And it was like epiphany, mind blown, because we get into our vacuum, into our world, and we think everyone, our silos rather, we think everyone lives the way we do, and they don't.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man, an 8-episode series, now streaming on Disney+.
A superhero remake, not exactly what we'd expect from an Oscar-winning director.
Action!
Simon Williams, audition for Wonder Man.
I'm gonna need you to sign this, assuming you don't have superpowers.
I'll never work again if anyone found out.
My lips are sealed.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man. All 8 episodes now streaming, only on Disney+.
Yeah, that's a great message for the audience, for this local media audience too. I'm the same way. I'm a huge audio guy. Obviously, we're on a podcast right now. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm constantly in my inbox. I'm constantly on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have any newsletters you read? You don't have any podcasts you listen to? And people are like, no, I don't. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
it's easy to forget that.
I'm a podcast junkie too. Yeah, I'm a
nice.
podcast junkie too. And so I had to take a break because it was just like I had too many. I have too many.
Yep.
But I've been listening to podcasts for a very long time now. And when I hear people are just like, podcasts, no.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, why aren't you there yet?
Yeah, it's hard to it's kind of like almost a siloed media landscape these days where everybody has their own thing. And
yeah,
I didn't have that in the questions, but I'm glad it came up.
Well, I had a podcast at the Indy Star when I was there, so I was
did you?
podcast host.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So you're a veteran. You're a veteran. Some people hop on and it's their first podcast interview, and I'm like, really? I've done 4 today. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My light just went off in the background. Sorry.
That's okay. I didn't even notice. So you talked about how you're hyper local in Indianapolis. You talked about the community a little bit there. The housing affordability, that's an issue most places probably these days. But I talked to people from all over the country working in local media. I have not had anybody on from Indianapolis. So I'd love if you could can you talk a little bit about the city, like the communities you serve, maybe even like, what the economy is like there? I'm just not that familiar with Indianapolis. I know the Colts.
Well, I think we're a resilient, we're a thriving city. We are a city that I think often surprises people when they come, that we do have culture here, that we do have a thriving scene of arts and culture life. We're we have the Market Coalition. I can't think of the exact name of it right now, but anyway, it is an area that is thriving with countries from all over the world. All live like on the west side. I mean, well, they live all over the city, but there's this area on the west side that you can go to this area and eat at a restaurant just about from every part of the world that you want to go to. Global Village, in Marketplace. So it celebrates culture in a way of like all these ethnic groups and people from different parts of the world and countries come here, and we celebrate that. We celebrate the diversity. It doesn't mean there's not challenges, because there obviously always are when you have people together. But we have gentrification. We have nice neighborhoods. We have neighborhoods that are underdeveloped, that are still fighting to be seen and heard and to be stable. And so we're all the things in Indianapolis. Again, we have from the very rich to the very not so rich. I mean, we have everything. And I think Indianapolis kind of gets a bad rap. People think there's nothing here because we're in, I guess, middle of nowhere, Indiana. People think, or it's corn. But there's more than corn in Indiana. There used to be a slogan that we had way back, and there truly is. I've lived here since 1998, and I've watched this city change dramatically, and just grow and be more of a place where other cultures live and thrive, and welcoming to different people from all over. We have a large Burmese population that people don't know that we have. We have a lot of Haitian immigrants coming here and that live here now. And that means people bring their culture and their foods and all and their lifestyles. So that means the city is dynamic. It's constantly changing. We're a big sports city, professional sports league. And my daughter's a volleyball player, and we just got our professional volleyball team last year.
Nice.
So I mean, yeah. So we have, in addition to the Colts, the Indians baseball team, Pacers, Fever, we have hockey, we have soccer, and now volleyball. So we have a lot of things here in the city. We have the G League now. So yeah, Indianapolis has it going on. People often don't know that. I mean, we have our issues, we have our things we have the cold here too. So if it was like super cold last week. So I'm not a fan of the cold, but it gets hot too. It gets hot. We get all the seasons.
That's great because, like I said, I'm from Denver, and it's kind of similar. The U.S. is such a huge place. People get caught up on these big coastal cities, and they're like, oh yeah, it's New York, L.A., what else is there? And they're like, you're from Denver? There's mountains, right? And I'm like, well, it's a lot more than that. I mean, it's a big, so that's why I like talking to people from all over the place and hearing about these different places. And it's good to hear you're a volleyball mom too. I have a couple of nieces in Nebraska that are rock star volleyball players. I've been getting really into it. We've been streaming them, which you can do now and everything.
Yes.
So, off topic, but that's fun. Yeah. It's a fun sport to watch. I've really
Oh,
been
yes,
enjoying
it
that.
is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And you mentioned Denver, so I know that from Dynasty.
See,
Growing up
and
watching Dynasty.
And I've never even seen that. And that's the thing with like a lot of, I don't want to call them tier 2 cities or whatever, but it's a fun place. That's good stuff. But back to journalism, local journalism and stuff like that. It's 2026 and all anybody is talking about anywhere is AI. So I have to ask everybody about it. I like to get different people's opinions, like overall opinions on it. And then I'm always curious to hear if and how people are using any tools like in the organization, how you're kind of using it as it evolves.
Well, my overall opinion on it is probably like many in the industry, caution.
Mm-hmm.
Caution about what it will do to our industry and other industries as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as we and as part of our job too is to watch how it affects jobs of those who live in Indianapolis as well as our jobs. We reporters are using. I mean, AI has been around for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we use it, and we often didn't realize what we were using it. Reporters use Otter to transcribe their notes. We don't use AI in our actual writing, reporting, and that nature. But I mean, obviously, there's tools that help you do your job better or more efficiently, I should say. We are actually, as you know, we're just a 2-year-old organization. So we launched in December 2023. So we are figuring out our AI policy. We're actually trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? What should we do? What is the right way to go? How do we balance what's the needs versus like the reality? So we're still figuring AI out. And I think it's one of those things that is evolving and we'll constantly be refiguring AI out, figuring AI out and revisiting it just because most things are happening quicker. Technology happens quicker than what we're ready for, usually. We're usually behind the 8 ball when it comes to technology. I think about the internet when it comes to journalism, how we didn't take the internet seriously when it first came on the scene. We're just like, oh yeah, much like radio didn't take TV seriously.
Right.
We did not take the changes that this would put up on us seriously enough until it was way late. We were really, really behind on figuring out how to use the internet. I don't know if you can remember, but it's just kind of like a throwaway. Oh, put that up on the website. People, and then we gave the news away, but you charge people for the print product. And so people were like, why am I paying for this when I can get everything online? And then we also train people to think that it should be free online. And then we came back later and said, oh, no, we're going to put a paywall up. So what do people do? Find ways to get around the paywalls. So, it's because it's constantly evolving. Thankfully, everything we do is free. That's part of our mission. That's what it will always be free. And we also share all of our content. Anyone can republish our work. We're fine with that. But yeah, AI is something that, and we're battling data centers in our city as well. So that's why I say it's continuously evolving.
Yeah, I think I saw a story on your website just today about data centers coming in and about that stuff. That's not happening where I am, but I know it's just becoming a bigger storyline in different areas like that and everything. Yeah, but thanks for that. I like hearing out different people. Otter.ai comes up on almost every episode of these local media orgs. Almost everybody. The transcription stuff is super valuable and helpful.
Yes, I think every reporter in this newsroom has Otter.
Yeah. I use it too. I use it in most of my calls because otherwise my brain just forgets about stuff immediately after I hop off a call. That's super helpful. I didn't have this in the questions, but you brought it up that Mirror Indy, sorry, not Irmindy. Mirror Indy is just 2 years old. And another theme on the show is kind of sustainability stuff, like, actually making a sustainable business. Is Mirror Indy, is it a for-profit? Is it a non-profit? Like how are the bills being paid? Do you have ads, subscriptions? Like what are you doing along those lines?
We are a nonprofit newsroom. We are a newsroom of Free Press Indiana. So when we first got going, as many people know, American Journalism Project helped to get this newsroom going. And so we were Indiana Local News Initiative. That was our placeholder name. And we came together, the people who were working here at the time, Ariana Beatty, our community journalism director, who was the first hire, Ebony Chappelle, our director of brand and marketing strategy, and Karen Ferguson Fusen, who is one of the co-founders. This is her baby, her idea, and also board chair. So we were coming up with names, and we chose Mirror Indy for the newsroom, and Free Press Indiana is our support organization. To make a long story short, I was giving you some background history. So they're our support organization, and they are tasked with raising the money for us, doing the HR work, and all the things that make a business happen. We're the newsroom. That's our focus, is the newsroom. And then their task also is to launch other newsrooms across the state of Indiana. Right now, they are in the midst of their statewide initiative. So there'll be some things coming soon that we'll see from statewide from Free Press Indiana. So yeah, our development team raises funds. We are primarily donation, philanthropy, big grants, big donations, but little donations that we have donors, we call our members. So that helps to raise money. We did not have a advertising way to raise money through advertising at first, because we didn't have anyone to actually do that. So now we have someone on the development team whose job it is to bring in ads. So that is a part of our revenue stream. We want to have a diverse revenue stream so that we're not just totally dependent on one form of revenue to come in. But yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. I just kind of want to get a kind of overview of how it works. And I have folks from all different kinds, for-profit, nonprofit. I think there's space for all of them. They all have benefits and drawback, both sides and everything. So, that's perfect. That totally answered it. I lost my questions. Sorry. I've been asking kind of everybody recently. The media landscape and the local media landscape is constantly changing, and it's like accelerating over the last 25 years, whatever you want to call it. From where you're sitting, where do you see Mirror Indy in 5 years? And where do you hope it goes in 5 years? And yourself too. What's it look like 5 years down the line, like in an ideal world?
Well, we're still here. We're still here with Sustainable. I'm still here. I'm still editor-in-chief. We are a trusted local news source. We are dependable, reliable, that people know us, that we're their first news source. They think, let's go to Mirror Indy. I couldn't ask for anything more than to be a trusted news source, reliable. And in here, if we're trusted, people will come to us, and that is a big thing. And coming from not even existing, to not even having a name, to coming from scratch, and then to be where we are in 2 years, going into our third, this is exciting just to see the growth that we have, and just to take that and just to be better and dig deeper and to hone in on our skills and just do community more intentionally every single day, every single year, to do accountability, all those things. That's what I see as doing in 5 years. What we're doing now, but even more so, because we'll have a bigger impact. More people will know who we are, and they'll come to us with their stories. So it's just continual growth until we, like Pinky and the Brain, take over the world.
I love that reference. That's great. Very cool. I'll be watching along and rooting for you.
Thank you.
That's all the stuff I had put together. Where can people find you online? What do you want me to link to or promote or anything like that?
mirrorindy.org, obviously, and then our social media sites. Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm sorry, not LinkedIn. Well, they can find us on LinkedIn too. I shouldn't say not LinkedIn. I want to find us wherever. But every place on our website has all the links to everything we're on, if that helps you at all.
Yeah. I'll link to all that. Ashia, thank you so much for joining me. This is great. It was great to meet you.
Thank you. It was a great time.
Yeah. And you have a great day.
Thank you too.
Thank you for listening to Small Press Big Ideas. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like to help the show, the best thing you can do is to tell a friend or colleague and just take a few minutes to leave a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening to right now. It only takes a minute out of your day, but it really does help the podcast grow and reach more ears. Check back for new episodes every Monday.